Welcome Premier Property community, and it's that time. So welcome, and I have, as usual, lots of questions there. In fact, I've got 5 specific questions, really good questions, which we're going to go through right now. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, this has actually been recorded live in our Premier Property community and is being delivered to you on YouTube as well. And you know that if you're liking these videos, that you can subscribe. You've got to press that subscribe button, you know how it works. And then you can click on that bell icon just to make sure that you get every Q&A every week coming to you direct ASAP. So welcome. And if you are joining me for the first time, my name's Cam Dwivedi. I'm the founder of Premier Property. And we are delving straight into questions and just going to share with you my humble experience and move forward with this, right? So, by the way, I haven't had a chance to read these questions, so we're doing this kind of off the cuff. Let's see what happens. So first up, we have Ellen. So Ellen in our Premier Property Inner Circle, Ellen Erickson is asking, how much above the guide price in an auction do you generally sell for, do the property sell for? And is there an average percentage for a quick rule of thumb? Thanks, says Ellen. Okay, so great question. So about auctions and about the guide price. So you know when you go to an auction, there's a guide price. Now that really is the carrot. That's really the attraction. However, that is not the price. Now, typically, to answer your question and directly, you're looking at, as a rule of thumb, 10%. So the reserve price, which is the minimum that the owner will actually accept, the seller will actually accept, is usually, the reserve price is usually within 10% of the guide price. Now, that is normal. However, in my experience so far, I've been to 2 auctions where the property is actually sold 2 times under the guide price, which is a little bit odd, to be fair. But normally, it is 10% as a reserve, and that's a nice rule of thumb to be working from. So I hope that answers your question there. A really good question. Auctions, I love auctions. If you're like me, you love auctions too. And auctions are absolutely coming back. The online auctions are here at the moment. And moving forward, I can't wait till all the auctions are back into the auction room so that you can actually assess your competition. There's so much to do with auctions, but great question. Next up, we have, a regular person, one of our regular members who's asking a question more or less every week, which is brilliant. And this is Palashi. Palashi is asking, Cam, if you have made an offer to the estate agent which gets rejected, however, after sometimes the estate agent comes back to you with the same offer, but now you wish to reduce the offer further, how do you go about it? How to make sure that your offer is accepted the second time, but with a reduced price than your previous offer? Okay, so Plash has clearly had an offer that she put forward, which was rejected, and now the estate agent has come back a couple of months later, and he's saying they will accept your offer. But Palashi now, being a professional investor, you want to see if you can get a little bit of an extra edge. Now, what we do at Premier Property is that if something like that happens and the deal actually works, so you're finding the figures are working, you actually want the deal, it's a good deal for you, then personally, if I'm being completely honest with you, we don't negotiate any further. Now, in that instance, what you'll find is they've come back to you. They've had they've had someone make another offer that's fallen out of bed. Now they've come back to you. They understand that what you've got is really good. You're confirmed, and they say we will accept your offer. What we will do 95% of the time at Premier Property is we will say, okay, our offer is on the table. Let's get the sale agreed. Let's get the property off the market. And you want the property off the market. So you ask the estate agent to put it marked under SSTC, sold subject to contract, and your offer is accepted. Now, with properties that we're not really that interested in, sometimes there's situations where we made an offer, but actually we could have made a deeper offer. Or sometimes, you have projects going on. So we have a number of projects going on. You think, it's another one this month. Then in that instance, you don't really need it. You don't really need to have that property. So what you could do is be slightly cheekier and actually say, well, here's a specific method of doing this. So you could say, Plashy, yeah, great, thank you for accepting the offer. However, that was last month, but right now, you want to keep it honest as well. We've got a couple of other projects going on, and they are sale agreed, and our funds are being utilized for these. So I'm happy to make an offer. However, it needs to be 5% less, 20 grand less, whatever that is for you. So you make the offer, but you make a reason for the offer and you explain it. Now, remember, in this case, you're quite free and easy. You're not needy, so you're relaxed. So they accept it, they accept it. They don't accept it, they don't accept it. And when we do this at Premier Property, we normally, rather than just a small amount of a discount of 5 or 10%, we normally go quite heavy on the discount. So we'll go 15, 20%. And what I find quite interestingly is when you don't need it the most, it comes to you the fastest. I can't explain that rule. It just seems to be like that. So the more of a discount you ask, because you're not really that fast whether you get it or not, they come back to you and say, yeah, the vendor is happy with that. And you got a fabulous deal. So think about your offers. How much do you really want it? If it's an offer, to summarize, if it's an offer that you put forward and the numbers made sense for you and you want that property, then get that offer accepted. If you want to be slightly cheekier and you've got other things going on and you think, well, if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, it doesn't matter. Then you can go deeper and chances are you may get that accepted as well. So I hope that answers your question, Plashy. That's how we do it at Premier Property. Now, if you're here right now and you're on the live feed, then feel free to send us a wave or a like, or if you're liking these answers, just let me know that you're here and you're engaged here with me. So if that's the case, and if you're on YouTube, I'd love to hear your comments. And if you've got any further questions, feel free to just at the bottom of this page, to actually, put in your questions or your comments. I really love to hear from you. And my promise to you is I will make a personal reply and answer any questions that you have where you comment below. Feel free to do this, and by now you can subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, we're going to move forward to the next question. So we're on question number 3, and this question is being asked by Rene. So Rene is asking about the stamp duty break. So Rene is saying the stamp duty break has actually come along. Can you save if now you transfer a property into a company? Rene, really great question and absolutely fantastic opportunity. Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, has given all of us an opportunity to really be investing in property right now. And I love what he's actually done, to be fair. No, I'm not into that politics, but I personally feel he's done something really good for us. So there is no stamp duty between 0 to 500,000. And if you have one property, there will be a surcharge of 3%. Like, cut a long story short, what you'll find is it's much better than what it was last month. It's really good for us. So to answer your question specifically, the transfer of your property into a company is going to be seen as like a buying and selling transaction, because your company is a separate entity. So you are here, that's you're that person, and you are selling that property in effect to the company. So that's the transfer happening. Now, when you're doing this, when you're selling that to that company, then there is going to be a stamp duty charge on that. There is going to be stamp duty tax. And as we know right now, between 0 to 500,000, if that's the only property that you have, then what you'll find is that you will have that saving between the 0 to 500,000 pounds where there is no taxation. And if you have a property, then over the figure of 125,000 to 250,000, 125,001 pounds to be exact, to 250,000 pounds, you will find that there will be some stamp duty payable, and it will be at the 3% surcharge. However, you will save up to the 250,000 mark, £2,500. So in effect, that's really good, isn't it? When you think about it, much better than what you had last month. What you got in front of you is really good. Now, if that figure goes from £250,001 up to £500,000, then what you're going to find is that you will save in that band a further £12,500. So if your property price happens to be 500,000, you can marry in those two brackets. So 2.5k from 125001 to 250k. So you save 2,500, and then between 250,001 pounds to the next 500,000 pound bracket, you save a further 12,500 pounds. And those together, of course, 12.5 plus the 2.5 is 15,000 pounds saving comparatively to the old stamp duty system. So now you've got a massive saving. So you're quite right, Ray, to ask the question. So if you are moving a property from personal to limited company, if you want to do that, now you don't have to do that. There's a ways around that, but let's not cover that right now. Let me just answer your question specifically. So if you're looking to do that, now is the time to do that, to take account of the stamp duty saving. One of the things that you want to be aware of. Also, you got to keep in mind capital gains. That's a separate thing that we can discuss on another day, because that wasn't your question, but just things to be aware of. Brilliant question. Stamp duty, a lot of saving, so it can help you right now. Excellent question. So let's move forward to the next question, and this is another question from our Premier Property Inner Circle member, Nick Dawson. Nick Dawson is really on it, really ploughing along with buying and selling properties, and really getting into acquisitions right now. Exciting things is what Nick's doing. So Nick's question is, does anyone know if you can use a SASS pension pot to purchase and renovate a commercial property? Can you do that? Is the question. So, in terms of pensions, now of course, I can't give you financial advice or pension advice, but what I can share with you is what we are doing as entrepreneurs, as active investors in Premier Property. So, there are two types of pension schemes. You have the invested personal pension. That's a mouthful, isn't it? The SIP, SIPP, self-invested personal pension. And then we have the small self-administrated scheme as well. So you have the SSAS. So these two schemes work in different ways. Now, answering your question directly, if it is commercial property and you are buying commercial property, then your pension in a SASS will allow you to do that. So in investor's perspective, you can do that. You can get into a commercial property, and it can only be a commercial property. Remember, I'm sharing with you the entrepreneur's investor's perspective. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. You can use your pension pot to use that money in your pension pot to put it into commercial property. And if it's commercial property that you're dealing with, then that's absolutely fine. If it's the other scheme, the self-invested personal pension, then what you'll find is that you are able, one of the things I love about that, one of those types of schemes, is that you are able to loan yourself the money. So you're loan yourself, meaning that the pension pot is able to allow a loan to you or to your company. So it's another way of releasing money from your SIP, SIPP. So things that we can discuss further, but to answer your question directly, hopefully I answered it for you there. It's Nick. It's about using the SASS for commercial. Really exciting. Pensions are so exciting. They are the most exciting they've ever been since I met with my senior accountants early part of the year, and early part of last year, to be fair. And we discussed all the things that can be done with them. So exciting. Really extremely exciting. Look into pensions, a very useful way to be investing into assets like property. Now, the final question I've got here for today is from Sakti. So Sakti is asking, looking at properties for service accommodation, or you might know this as Airbnb. So, service accommodation, agents are charging admin costs, agents are charging check-in, check-out referencing costs, and a 6-week deposit. Okay, so Sakti is saying that's what's happening. Now, he is asking the question that can agents mention that the legislation that came in June 2019 was only for ASTs, short hold tenancies. Is this accurate? What can they charge? What can they not charge when it comes to deposits? That's in effect the question that Sakti is asking. So here's the thing, Sakti. So the first thing is, when it comes to their charges, they are within their rights to be charging now. And the thing is, how do we assess this at Premier Property for those charges? So we don't look at the charges as charges. We actually assess them as a cost of doing business. Because if you pay the charges, if you remunerate them, you loosen the purse strings, what you're going to find is that those people are actually going to work with you, and you're going to get the deal. And the deal makes you money. you know that in service accommodation, like we do at Premier Property, that you can make a net income of anything between £6,000 per annum to £12,000 per annum, depending on the location. Key figures. Now, if you're getting 6,000 net to £12,000 net per annum from one deal, then surely paying a few £100s or a few £1,000s even is a great way of getting into the deal. So this is how we assess it at Premier Property. So is it really a cost, or is this really an investment that you need? So what we decide, this is an investment that you need. So this is what we do at Premier Property. So we'll pay the costs, we'll pay the investment to get a larger return on your investment. Now, when it comes to, I hope this is answering your question. The second part of your question is about actually the deposits. So can they take a deposit? Can they not take a deposit? How does that actually work? Your agents are saying that they want 6-week deposit. How does that work? So let's clarify this. Now, under the rules of an AST, if the income is less than £50,000, then the maximum deposit that you should be paying, maximum deposit, is 5 weeks. That is the rules and regulations. If the income coming in is over £50,000 per year, then your letting agent can ask for, your landlord can ask for a 6-week deposit. Now this is with a short hold tenancy, a normal tenancy. However, the way we do this at Premier Property when it comes to service accommodation, as you're doing it as well, right, Sakti? So the way this works is that you don't have an AST. So you have the right agreement, and the right agreement is a company-let agreement. Now, the big mistake that many investors make is that they confuse the two. They confuse landlord law with common business law. With an AST, it is landlord law, and you've got to follow the legalities of the landlord law. But when it comes to service accommodation, and like we do at Premier Property, we have a company-let agreement. What you find is that company-let agreement does not follow landlord law. It's a completely different realm, and it is the business common law, like what I mentioned. So in this business common law realm, in fact, you don't need to necessarily pay a deposit. These are the rules. These are the regulations. Under the common law, there is no need for a deposit because it is not an AST, and it's not landlord law. Yeah, you get me, right? So what you'll find is that you don't have to pay that deposit. However, do you want the deal? Now, if you want the deal, what you'll find is that many letting agents, to be fair, they're a bit of a law onto themselves, and they want to, they're doing the best they can for their clients, which are the landlords. So they may ask you for a deposit. So that might be a 5-week deposit, that could be a 6-week deposit. And what we're discussing here isn't conceptual. It's not what the book says. It's how real life actually really works. So the question comes back to, like what I say, do you want the deal or don't you want the deal? Now, if you want the deal, what I ask myself is, do we want the deal? Is there a return on investment? So if you ask yourself that question, is it worth putting down a 5-week deposit? Is it worth putting down a 6-week deposit? Provided that you are going to get a return on investment from taking on that apartment, taking on that property, making money from it, is it going to work? And is this the door opener? And if this is the case, every time at Premier Property, the answer is always yes. So they ask for 4 weeks deposit, we'll say yes. They ask for 5 weeks deposit, we'll say yes. They ask for 6 weeks deposit, being a little bit cheeky now, but we will say yes. And at the end of the day, you are the winner because you are the one that's actually getting the return on investment. So think about spending money, making money, and remember that your deposit is a deposit. So it's not money that you just frivolously just spent and it's gone. That deposit is sitting there. So once you have your lease, once your lease completes, that deposit comes back to you. So it's just being held there. Another key that you want to be aware of, so let's go in even deeper, is that when it comes to commercial leases, when it comes to your company-let agreement, that deposit doesn't have to be protected either. Now, the letting agent might decide to protect it or not protect it, but the fact is it doesn't have to be. You can really decide how you want to do that with the letting agent. And we tend to be amicable because in real life, we want to get the deal. So think about that. Think about how you can stretch yourself. Think about yourself as an entrepreneur. and I hope that answers your question as well. So really good questions, 5 specific questions, all completely different. Now, if you're watching this, feel free to subscribe, like what I say, on the YouTube. And if you're watching this in the Premier Property Inner Circle Facebook group, where this is absolutely live, then feel free to ask your questions between now and next week. Just post them in the community, and I will do my best to answer them on the Tuesday if they haven't already been answered by our lovely community that we've gathered together, because many people are answering those questions for you in that time frame anyway. And I will see you here next week on the Tuesday live at 5 p.m. on the Facebook group. And if you're on YouTube, you will see this video coming on YouTube. Click the subscribe, click the bell icon. It's Cam Devady helping you to take your property investing to the next level. I'll see you soon.